Hi everyone, my name is Peter and I want to thank you for joining me here today on the floor of my kitchen, in front of my refrigerator, in front of my stove. This is another video sponsored by Squarespace. I have something very important to show you today. Some time ago, I got a comment on one of my videos, and usually I'm pretty good at not taking my comments these comments too seriously, but this comment said something along the lines of, Peter, your videos, I'll put it right here, Peter, your video, no. It said, Peter, your fridge is very depressing. How do you survive? Something like that, right? And I must have shown the inside of my fridge in this video, whatever video this comment was on, but I took this comment to heart and I thought, I need to make a change. And so I did. First of all, it was kind of depressing. I'll show you the changes I've made. First of all, I'll show you that I found a tenant. His name is Dan. Hi, Dan. How's it going? Dan is sitting in here right now. He's, I think he was in the middle of breakfast having some cherry slices. How are the cherry slices, Dan? Have you ever heard of that story, The Indian in the Cupboard, where there's like a toy Indian living in the boy's cupboard, but he doesn't move when he's around? That's kind of what goes on here. So he's frozen. Whenever I open up the fridge door, he just freezes in place. But yeah, this place was pretty depressing before, but I set it all up nicely. I got a roommate, and he lives here on this shelf of my fridge. Usually I keep some other stuff up here on the top shelf. Right now it's just the heavy cream, but I moved everything else down here into the bottom shelf because just pretty much just for the sake of this video, because when I have like my my cheese and my roast beef, if I keep this stuff up here on the top shelf where I usually put it, then it just it casts a bit of a shadow down here on Dan's room. Here's his TV. This is like his entertainment station. This is his only way really to tell how much time is passing, the clock on the wall. Here's his little TV remote. I think he has tea here. Oh yeah, and you're probably wondering, where does he get tea from? I actually make tea and share it with him. I made a cup right now. Here you go, buddy. It doesn't stay hot very long, but I make it strong so he doesn't need a lot of it. There you go. Cup of Earl Grey for you. He's got some nice pictures there, a few little house plants, nice little lounge chair. Now I did have some other furniture coming for him, but I ordered it like 6 months ago and it just never came. I guess coronavirus is to blame for that. I don't know. It just got lost in the mail. I was going to have like a couch over here and stuff. Maybe it'll still come one day and I'll put it in there. I'll show you if it comes. Yeah, so he's having cherry slices for breakfast. The nice thing about living in a fridge is that you don't have to put your beverages in the fridge because you live in the fridge. You can just keep them on the floor. It does mean you have to wear a coat all the time, which he does. He wears a coat and pants and shoes all the time. Also, Dan, if you're curious, his name Dan is short for dandruff. Poor guy. Thankfully, he doesn't have much hair. He keeps the rest of his dishes in this cupboard. There you go. Some more teacups and plates and a little pitcher and stuff. Let me close that for him. He'll be freaked out if he wakes back up and sees his cupboard open. But he'll be pleased about the tea. That much I'm sure of. Anyways, I'm just thinking today we should make another piece of art for him, a little gift, so he feels a little bit more at home. I think there's room to put some art right here, so we should do that. What do you think? Make it feel a little cozier in here. All right, cool. All right, Dan, see you later. Have a good day. And yeah, we're going to go work on something to make your... Oh, look, there's even a little chandelier up here. That's pretty nice, right? Did you all see that? Okay, let's go make some art for Dan, and he'll feel better. All right, I've got my tea here. A little bit of Earl Grey for me, a little bit for Dan. And let me tell you the plan. First, let me tell you about Squarespace. I will say, I think even Dan could have a website. I might have to make it for him, but you can have a website for almost anything with Squarespace, and it's very easy. You can have it for portfolios, photography, online stores, blogs and podcasts, professional services, local businesses, community, nonprofits, events, weddings, musicians and bands, restaurants, personals, and CVs. I don't know what CV stands for. I think it's some Latin thing like curriculum vitae. Maybe Dan needs a blog. What does he do in his little apartment all day? What do you do in your apartment all day? We could find out both by way of a Squarespace website. What do you say? So go to squarespace.com to start your free trial now, 14-day free trial. And then when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/PeterDraws to get 10% off your first website or domain. I'm excited thinking about all the different things you could do with a cool new website. All right, here's my idea for art for Dan. I have this little frame. There's art in it already. The art says, "Everyone is special, not even you." This is art I got a long time ago from, at the time, this artist was called Plorp Thoughts. I think right now he just goes by his name, Maiko Falatico. You can find him on Instagram. I like him. He's a good artist. But I'm going to keep the art, but I just need the frame. See? Plorp Thoughts. So I'm just going to pop this little canvas out of there. Oh, that is a really nice little canvas. I kind of wish I had a little canvas like that. But what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take this, right? We can use this little frame. It's a little bit gaudy. It's a little bit flashy for Dan's apartment, but I think we can use it. We can stick a piece of, I have this pad of watercolor paper, and I think we should cut a little square out of it, put it in here. Well, not put it in here. First we'll make art on it, and then once we make art on it, put it in this little frame, and then we can plop it down in the corner of Dan's apartment, and it'll just be a little bit nicer, like a little housewarming gift for him. And maybe his life will be a little bit better because he seems a little bit lonely. Because some days he only sees me like once a day because I order delivery or something instead of sticking my nose in the fridge. So, I mean, having him there is a good motivation for me to eat out of the fridge instead of, out on the town or whatever. Poor guy. Let's see what we can make for him. I think I'm just gonna cut it just like this. Do a cut here. Then let's just test it out to see if it fits in this. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Nice. All right, see, that'll make a nice little, it's a very crazy frame. But maybe Dan will like it. I don't really know what kind of person he is. Maybe he's totally into this sort of thing. Cool. So now let's pop it back out and let's start on the art. Start the art. All right, so the paints I used here are M. Graham watercolor paints. The paper is Arches cold pressed. The brushes are silver black velvet brushes, and these are all very nice, very expensive supplies for watercolor painting. You don't need this stuff. A lot of this stuff was gifted to me by a very generous viewer, Darvoid. Thank you, Darvoid, once again. Anyways, I first started with a watercolor piece without any line work, which is often what I do when I try watercolor. I'm no watercolor expert, okay? If you've been around this channel at all, I have tried watercolor several times, and maybe 80% of the time I do the watercolor first and then sometimes add line work after, but this time it just didn't seem to be working out that well. And also I tried this weird thing where I got my heat gun out. I don't know if you know what a heat gun is, but it's like a hair dryer, but like cranked way up industrial settings. It can pump out air at like 1400 degrees or something crazy like that. And it did help to dry, because I was just trying to quicken the process up a little bit, where I didn't have to wait for some parts of the watercolor to dry before moving on to the next step. But it didn't work very well, partly because I'm doing this all on a cutting mat, and it was making my cutting mat warp underneath it because I guess of the drastic temperature changes. So I abandoned that idea even after like taping it down and everything. It just wasn't working. I needed to start over. I needed to start fresh. And on the second try, I used a rotring isograph 0.35 to do the line work first. And I really did want to do a landscape drawing for Dan in the fridge there, because he has two paintings already hanging on his walls. One is a picture of a girl, like it's a little girl like reaching out, and there's like a little cat there too. And then the other one is already a bit of a landscape. But I feel like if you're living in a fridge, you don't have any windows. It's not the best place to live. You're kind of living in a jail cell, and maybe you would like a picture of the outside world. Some nice blue skies with clouds and the grass and a tree. So that's kind of what I'm giving him here, even if it is a kind of surrealistic landscape. I do what I can. I can't do everything. So that's what I ended up doing. Did the line work, and then I came back in afterwards with some watercolors. And I think I did something kind of cool here, which is I edited it to look like I usually edit out all the breaks in my drawing. So like I take lots of breaks, even if it's just to draw a few lines, take the pen away, draw a few more lines, right? Usually I take out most of those tiny little breaks and the bigger breaks, but here with watercolor, you take a lot of little breaks where you do a little bit of watercolor, a few brush strokes, then you go back up to the palette, and you touch the paint a little bit, then you mix it around a little bit, and then you might touch your paper towel some, and dip it in the water a little bit, and you do all of this stuff in different combinations, one or the other, or all three or four, or just one or two, right? And so there's a lot of little breaks where you're going back and forth from the paper to all these other stuff, and I took all of that out, or most of all of it. I did my best, so it kind of looks like I'm just steadily painting with the brush, and I like it because it kind of looks like it's some magical paintbrush that automatically refills itself on water, automatically never runs out of paint, and magically changes colors as well. There are paintbrushes that refill themselves on water, like those water brushes. I've tried a few of those. I think one is called a Pentel water brush. That's one brand. There's a few others I've used, and they're all pretty cool. They work good for a few certain things. I think usually they have, what are they called? Synthetic brushes, fibers, threads, or whatever they're called. So maybe they're not quite as good if you're like if you get particular about that sort of thing. But I think it looks pretty cool how I edited this. But anyways, it might be this. It might be the sort of thing you only appreciate if you're the one editing it. So, anyways, I think it turned out pretty cool. I think Dan will enjoy the little painting, and I'll check back in with him later if he doesn't like. I think maybe what he might get most hung up on is the frame. So maybe I can shop around and find some other little frames that might match the rest of his decor a little bit better, and maybe I can mount it on the wall also, maybe next to his TV or behind, on the opposite wall behind his dinner table there. And it might look good. What else do you think I should get for his apartment? I don't know. All right, here we are. Let's see if Dan likes it. Hey, knock, knock, Dan. Hey, buddy, watching some TV. We made you some art. What do you think? It's okay if well, you ate the whole cherry. So you finished your tea and put it over here. You really did destroy that whole cherry. Very impressive. Having an orange Fanta now. Watching some TV. Also, I never know what he watches on TV because just like he stops moving when I open the door, the TV turns off. Something to do with the magic spell, but I don't know if he can see right now. But what do you think? Is it okay? He can move it around. I think it's not too heavy. I'm just gonna put it over here in the corner, like this. Maybe later I can mount it on the wall for him if he likes. But yeah, I don't mean to bother you, buddy. Go ahead, Carry on with your day. What are you watching? HGTV? House? Psych? I'm watching Psych right now. Maybe we're on the same episode. We could watch together, but I don't know if you can survive outside the fridge, and I can't survive inside of it. So just enjoy the little weird alien landscape we made for you. Hope you like it, and chill out. Have a good one. I'll come back and get your dishes for you later. Since you don't have a sink in here, I can clean those up for you, no problem. All right. Goodbye.